Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's your boy Gary Scott, aka the Solid Pip Assassin, and I'm back with another video, guys. I know I've been gone for a minute, but your boy is back in action, man. I want to drop some jewels on you guys today, in this session. Um, if you guys have watched my previous videos and you watched one of my first videos that I made was how to attack the market. All right. And I kind of put everything together in that video. But today on this video, guys, I'm really going to be going over, right, how to capitalize off of order blocks, right? How to capitalize off of order blocks. All right. And when they become beneficial for you. All right. Because, right, you have three trends in the market. You have an uptrend, you have a downtrend, and you have a sideways moving market, right? So let's write that out first, right? Because it all goes together. All right, it all goes together. So you have your uptrend, right? Where it makes consistent higher highs and higher lows. All right. Higher highs and higher lows. Higher highs and higher lows. Now, here's the thing. When it's making consistent higher highs and higher lows, right? Whenever it creates a higher low, all right, if we're moving in an uptrend, you want to find bullish order blocks, or in other terms, right? Demand zones. All right. Think about that. When you're in a demand for something, right? And let's just say you go to the grocery store, right? You go to the grocery store and you're in demand of food. So because you're in a demand of food, because you need the food, right? The grocery store supplies that food for you to give yourself strength to go in the upwards direction. All right. So when price creates these higher highs, right? They create higher lows, but at these higher lows are areas of value, right? One of the three areas of value that I teach my students, right, or order blocks, which is supply and demand, right? Fair value gaps, which is liquidity within candlesticks. And then you also have structure levels, right? But today I'm only going to be breaking down order blocks. All right. So when price comes back to this higher low standpoint and reaches an area of value, right? The area of value it's coming back to is the last significant order block before it breaks the higher high, right? It's coming to the most significant one or the deepest one that it can find, right? Before it goes in another direction. All right. Then you have bearish order blocks, or in other terms, supply zones. All right. Where this makes consistent lower highs and lower lows. All right. Lower highs and lower lows. So now when it creates these lower highs, right? And lower lows, lower highs and lower lows, lower highs, right? It'll be the complete vice versa, right? Of what you had for the uptrend. So when price takes out those lower lows and decides to make a new lower low and pull back, whenever it creates these lower highs, it's looking for a supply zone. All right. It's looking for the deepest, most beneficial supply zone or bearish order block that you can go for. Okay. And that's what I'm going to be breaking down for you guys today, right? Putting it all together, right? When using these order blocks. Okay. So here's the thing. So we broke this down into an example. All right. Now I'm going to show you guys how it can be beneficial and how to properly use this. Okay. So we're going to find an uptrend first, and we're going to find the bullish order blocks, right? And how they will look similar to this, not exactly like this, right? It looks similar. Okay. So let's go and let's find, right, an uptrend, right? And how price is using order blocks, right, to take off and go in a upwards direction. All right. So with that being said, let's get started, guys. All right. If you guys want to follow me at my Instagram is Gary Scott Official. All right. Gary Scott Official. All right. And then you guys are here at my YouTube. All right. My YouTube is The Solid Pip Assassin. All right. So let's get straight to it. All right. So let's find this uptrend just so I can give you guys an example. Okay. All right. Excuse me. Let's see. All right, we're gonna come here. We're gonna use this example as right as one we're gonna use. Okay, so here's the first things first. All right, you want to see right where areas where you see strong rejections from. All right, are very key to pay attention to because those are structure levels that are getting broken. All right, those are structure levels that are getting broken. And those are things you have to pay very close attention to because when structure is broken, right, that's when we go and we find, for example, the higher high, right? Whenever the higher high is being created, right, it's always going to retest back to one of the three levels, but the levels that I'm pointing out to you right now are the order blocks. All right, so we have a break of structure, right? We see how price was moving to the downside, right? And then price went and took out this structure point. All right. When it takes out that structure point and creates this higher high, right? Let's mark it off. You can just come here, right? Price comes here, price comes back down, right? Price comes here, price comes back down. You see how that is similar to what we just wrote down recently, right? If we pull this to the side, right? You see how it's making consistent higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and higher highs. All right. You see how this is sort of similar to the example that I showed you guys. Now, let's put it into perspective, okay? So you have your high, right? Your higher low here because this is your retest point, right? And where is it retesting to? You want to find the closest last down candle, right? Which is my black candles, the last down candle before price clearly broke structure. So when it breaks crush structure clearly is when a candle closes clean above that previous structure point. Okay. So what is the last deepest order block that you can go to before it breaks structure? All right. The one that it stopped at was here. All right. So how do you mark off that order block? From wick of the selling candle, all right, to the top wick of the body of that selling candle. All right. And that gives you your order block. Okay. So the last down candle before price cleanly breaks structure. What do we have? The complete selling candle, right? From wick to wick or wick to body, whatever the case may be. But it's the last down candle before price clearly breaks structure, right? But you could get multiple ones, right? Because there's one here as well. This is the deepest order block that it has. All right. This is one of the deepest order blocks that it did have. All right. So if price did some way find its way below this point, we know that this is another order block that we can pay very close attention to. All right. Because it is the one of the last down candles before price clearly broke structure. It's just a deeper discounted order block. All right. But we're going to stop at this one. Okay. So we see whenever price came back to this order block, we want to pay attention to the candlestick confirmation that comes from this order block. All right. You want to find strong bullish, right? Which means buying candles, right? To the upward direction. All right. So once you get this confirmation right here, right? That it's a strong bullish candlestick confirmation. And that's another thing you guys will need to study, right? Go find a website that shows you particular candlesticks and how beneficial they are. You want to learn about these candlesticks because they're very important. When price comes back to these areas of value, it's always going to create a candlestick confirmation to let you know that price wants to move to the upside or for a downtrend right, to the downside, right? But in this case, we're going over the uptrend, right? So you have this, you will enter here with your SLs below, right? Below the order block, all right? And then you will want to take the trade back above, right? That higher high that was created, right? So boom, you have your first example there. Now, what do we have? Price clearly breaks structure here, right? Creates a high. What does price retest back to, right? Now, there's multiple different order blocks. You have the selling candle order blocks, but then you also have, right, order blocks with the buying candles, right? Because you can have them where you can do the selling candle, but you also can have an order block to where you do from the bottom of the selling candle's wick to the top of the selling candles, the top of the buying candles wick. All right, so you can do it like that as well. So you can use the last selling candles wick, right, to the selling candles wick, right? You can use that entire candle, or you can use from the selling candles wick all the way up to the buying candles wick. All right, does that make sense? And if that does, you see how price has reacted off of that level, right? Didn't quite give us a strong, right? A strong bullish confirmation candlestick pattern. So if it doesn't, what you want to wait for, right? What you want to wait for is a bullish candlestick confirmation that appears right above the order block, right above the order block, not below, above the order block. Okay. What you want to do then is place your SL below the order block. Okay. All right. So if this wasn't good enough for me, right, I would want to wait for a strong bullish candle confirmation pattern, right? You see how the body of this candle is bigger than the body of this selling candle. So that's enough confirmation for me to enter the market here, right, with my SLs below the order block, right? And then I'm aiming for what? The highs. All right. Prime example, aiming for the highs. Does that make sense? All right. Good. So now let's go back. Now price closed above this structure level, created a new high, right? Whenever it created this new high, price then pulls back to where? The last down candle before price clearly breaks structure, right? Cleanly. So what do? We grab our rectangle box. We go from, right, the selling candles bottom, right, all the way to the selling candles top wick, or you can just do it like I said. You can do from the wick of the selling candle to the body or the top wick of the buying candle. But in this case, we just did wick to wick of the selling candle, and that gives us our order block. And then what happens after that? You got a strong rejection and reaction off of this order block, right? It didn't give us strong confirmation when it came to the candlesticks. So again, what do we want to wait for? We want to wait for a bullish candlestick confirmation pattern, right? If we look here, we have a selling candle, a doji candle, and a bullish candle. That's a sign of a morning star pattern. So for me, if I would have seen that, I would have entered after this candle closed with my SLs below my order block and me aiming for the high. All right, you guys see that? We drag it all the way across. That high gets touched and we go about our business, right? Money is made and we go about our day. All right. So that's the example of the order blocks and how beneficial they can be, right, when you use them properly. All right. So if you guys want to take a picture of this, right, what I would suggest, it works for every pair, it works for it. It doesn't matter what time frame or different type of trader that you are, right? We got scalpers, you have intraday traders, and you have swing traders, right? It doesn't matter what type of trader you are, what type of time frame you trade on, right? When you use this, right, when you use what I just gave you guys, it can be extremely beneficial for you. All right. But you got to put it all together. All right. So I just explained the uptrend for you guys and how to find those bullish order blocks. All right. Now let's go back and let's find a downtrend, right? And find bearish order blocks, right? because that's what we want to do. We want to follow the trend. We want to go with what the trend is saying, right? Not with what we want it to say. We want to go with what the trend is saying. All right, so let's go and let's find, right? Let's find a downtrend. All right. All right. I passed a couple, but I want to find some that'll be a little bit more, clean for you to see. All right. So now let's see. Let's find a downtrend. Let's find a good downtrend that we can use. Okay. All right, boom, right here. All right. Sometimes the market is going to be clean, sometimes it's not going to be clean. But when the market becomes clean and the structure is clean, right? That's when you want to trade. When everything is clear cut and it makes perfect sense, right? So what do we have? Remember, I told you guys about the lower highs and lower lows, right? So you got your higher high point, right? You have a what as is a higher low, but until structure breaks this, it becomes a lower low. All right. So you have your lower high, right? That then becomes a lower low, right? Then you have your new lower low, your new lower high, right? And then so on and so forth. Price drops down to the downside, right? Price drop down to the downside. If you see, it still has the structure of a downtrend, right? Higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. All right. So let's take that away, right? And if we're looking at this, guys, what do we have? We have the breaker structure right here, right? So if this wasn't good enough for you, right, when price came down and broke below, right, this somewhat of a structure point here, because it is, right? Because it's a strong rejection. What do we have? You got your breaker structure. All right, so let's take a step back. You have your breaker structure here. All right, you got price retesting, right? Where does it retest to? Back to an order block, right? Guys, now remember, I told you order blocks. For an uptrend, it's the last down candle before price break structure. All right. Now for an uptrend, it's the last down candle before price break structure. For for an uptrend, all right. Before a downtrend, it's the last up candle before price break structure to the downside. All right. And or doji candlesticks. So candlesticks that have little to no body, but long wicks. Those are also considered order blocks as well. All right. So pay attention to that. Even when you're in an uptrend, pay attention to those doji candlesticks before price break structure, because those are also order blocks. All right. So let's see, right? Price retest created a lower high here, right? Where did it come back to? It came back to a doji candlestick, which is also considered an order block, right? That entire candle in itself. And what did price do? Price rejected off of this level. What do we get? We got two strong bearish candles to the downside. We can enter here with our SLs above the high of that order block. And then what do? We take it to the low. Okay. Right. In this case, when price creates this new low, right? When price creates this new low here, right? This is a new low, price retest, right? The order block is where? Here. But did price get back to this order block on this time frame? No, it didn't. All right. So if we was to go, give me 1 second. If we was to go to the 1 hour time frame, right? If we was to go to the 1 hour time frame, let's see if we can find where we just was. 1 second. Let's see if we can find it. Gotta take a step back. Because if it doesn't appear on a what? If it doesn't appear on a 4 hour time frame, you can always go down to the lower time frame. And if you guys see, this is the same structure I was just showing you for the downtrend, right? If we come back and we look at this, right? Remember I told you sometimes it can be the what? The last up candle before price break structure, right? But sometimes it can be this entirety right here. So from wick of the buying candle to the body of the selling candle. That can be your order block as well. And if you see here, right? From wick of the buying candle to the body of that selling candle, right? That can become your order block or the entire candle in itself. You can put it at the body or you can put it at the wick. But you have to know that that is also considered an order block zone as well. And if you see price came here, price closed below that zone here, right? With that bearish candlestick. And where are we taking it? We're taking it below, right? These lows are to the low. And if you see that, guys, it came right back to it, took out that low, money was made. All right. So those are the examples there. All right. Those are your examples there. All right. If you have any questions or whatsoever, please feel free to direct message me on Instagram at Gary Scott Official. You can email me at pipassassin20@gmail.com, which is PIPASSASSIN20@gmail.com. All right, guys. These were my two breakdowns of how you can capitalize off of order blocks within the trends that it's moving in. All right, guys. With that being said, it's your boy, the Solid Pip Assassin, and I'm out. Peace.